Hello, people of the world. This is Tom Brown here. It is Monday, November 7th. I am just on my way to return the Penske rental truck back to the Penske yard. And let me tell you, it's been a rough couple of days getting to the house and getting unloaded. I had a 26-foot truck with no overhang, just a 26-foot big box stacked floor to ceiling like a Tetris master, and it took a lot to unload everything, and there's still boxes stacked everywhere in the house, but at least it's on the property. My tools are all there, our furniture, clothes, kitchen stuff, you know, all the stuff you need to live. And tell you what, when I left Washington, it was raining sideways, cold, gray skies as far as the eye could see. As you can see here, middle of winter, and it's still nice out. When we came into town, we stayed at a hotel the one night before we came out to the house in the morning, and the ladies said, "Oh yeah, we've had a cold spell the last few days, and we never have this. It's the coldest it's been in years, over like 3 or 4 day period." And you know, I guess if that's the coldest it's been in years, we got some nice weather to look forward to. It was snowing, like a little bit of a flurry down in town. I'm sure it was snowing up at the house because we're higher in elevation, but we weren't there to see it. By the time we got there the next morning, you know, there's nothing. So anyway, so tomorrow I am having the backhoe delivered, and a backhoe is basically it's got a scooper bucket on the front, and it's got a digging arm and a scooper bucket, a digging arm on the back. So instead of getting an excavator, which I was thinking about getting a mid-sized excavator to do all the digging. Usually they have a blade on the front of them to push dirt around, and then getting also a little skid steer that's like a little one-seat, one-person. It's got a scoop on it. You can pick up loads of dirt, carry it around and dump it. But I figured 2 machines and, you know, twice as much fuel, so just went with the 1 machine. It's not as easy to dig with my dog's trying to jump out the window. Hold on. Get in here. Get over there. Get over there. It's not as easy to dig with a backhoe arm as it is with an excavator, because an excavator can move in a 360 motion. It can move all around, you know, can move in a complete circle. You can dig yourself a circle all around you if you wanted to. Backhoe only goes, I think, maybe like 90 degrees. Maybe some good ones go like 180 degrees. I don't know, but it'll be good enough for what I need. And so that's going to be showing up tomorrow. Today, after I get back from town from returning this rental truck, I'm gonna stop in at the Home Depot and get a big 1,200 gallon in-ground cistern tank. It's not like the big black round ones everybody sees that are above ground. I'm sure you could probably bury those in the ground, but they're really not made for being in the ground. The ones that are made for being in the ground are ribbed. They have like ridges in them that helps them to not collapse from the weight of the dirt. So I'm gonna get one 1,200 gallon cistern water holding tank, put it up by my well. My property's gently sloping from north to south, so I'm gonna put the 1,200 gallon cistern tank up near the well, which is behind the house on the north side, and I'll use that to feed my house and then I'll put a underground water line in that'll drain down. It'll slope down the north to south slope, and it'll drain into a couple of those big black water holding tanks that you see, the big huge round ones, and those will be 2,500 gallons a piece. I'll have two of them side by side, so that'll be 5,000 gallons, a little lower in the property. It'll be gravity fed from the 1,200 gallon in-ground cistern tank that'll be up behind the house. So I'm going to have plenty of water storage. It's going to take a while to fill all the tanks, just because you can only pump so much water out of your well at any given time. You'll dry it out. So it'll probably take 10 days or so of pumping and refilling, replenishing the well before the tanks will be full. But I got a pretty trick system. I spent the extra money, and I'm gonna have a solar array for the house and all my electrical needs. That's gonna be 12,000 kW, which is fairly large for an off-grid. It's not as large. I'm gonna go larger than that, but for now, on average, most people probably have like a, between a 6,000 and 8,000 watt, 6,000 watt hour system. But I'm planning on expanding in the future, and like I said before in the last few videos, doing some like rustic cabins for family members and also friends and people to come up and stay there and learn about off-grid living. So I'm going to put the infrastructure in right now for future use. I'm not going totally overboard right off the get-go, because it costs a lot of money to do the size of system that I want to do. But the system that I got, that I ordered, is called it's a hybrid inverter. It's called Solark, which is a really good brand, and it's got a really good warranty, which is the reason why I went with that one. And it's expandable up to eight hybrid inverter chargers in series. So I have one now. I ordered one, but I can do up to 8. I'll probably only go up to like 3 or 4 at the most, because I really won't need any more power than that. But the system that I have, totally all self-sustained system, is going to be a 12,000 kilowatt inverter charger, which means it takes the solar power from your solar array, the solar panels, and they come in on separate strings, because you can only have so many solar panels on one string because of the way that the voltage has to be inverted, and the way that the inverter uses the voltage. You can't, it's got parameters. You can't go too high or too low. It's got to be right between a certain parameter. So there'll be a few different strings on the solar array. I'm gonna have 16 panels. The panels are 375 watts each, I think. 120 cell panels, which is good. I think the really, really good ones are 144 cell, and they are like 410, 415 watts, something like that. But you get up into those categories, and the solar panels themselves are larger, harder to work with. So I think the system that was designed is pretty good for my needs. And so I'm going to have a separate solar array and hybrid inverter charger with a pretty sweet lithium-ion battery bank, and it's called a Powerwall. So you can do it different ways. You can either get like individual deep cycle batteries. You got 100 amp hour, 200 amp hour batteries, and you just, however many amp hour they are, you combine them to get the voltage you want for the system, and you tie the batteries together. But I'm getting what's called a power wall, which is it's a case on rollers, and the batteries are all connected together already, and there's just one whip, one big heavy duty whip that plugs in from the power wall to the inverter. So for future use, for rolling it around and adding more, it'll be pretty slick. So I have that system that I'm picking up here in a couple days up in Flagstaff. That's my powers for electrical for the house and for everything I need. But I separated it out, so the pump for the well and the VFD motor, which is for my water pressure, those are going to be on two separate solar arrays. One 8-panel solar array for the solar well pump, the one that goes down. It's called a deep well pump. It goes down into the well, and my well is it's 91 foot from the top of the well to where the water starts, and then it's altogether 261 feet from the top of the well to the bottom of the well. So it's 261 feet deep. The water starts at 91 feet, and but because it's a solar well pump, they have it's not a big, huge, powerful 240 volt 1 horse pump that you can get up when you're tied into the grid. Regular pump. I could have ran a pump like that off of my regular solar array power that I'm going to have for my house, but I wanted the water system to be completely self-sustained on its own, and the way the system was designed, with the battery storage, the pump controller, the deep well pump, and the variable frequency drive pump for the water pressure, it's gonna fill all of my needs that I need, because I have so much water storage. I just wanted to. We're planning on having future cabins and also a big greenhouse, so I didn't want to have to worry about not having enough water pressure and not having enough water to supply all the individual things that I'm going to need. So I kind of went big right out the gate on the water system, and I kind of just went on the first step on the regular electrical system, because I don't need that much right now, and because of the cost of it, I can build that over time as I go, because it's all stackable and linkable. You can double your system every time you purchase new equipment. So that's the plan for the water and power. And I'm on my way back today. I'll have the 1,200 gallon water cistern tank, and I will be getting the backhoe in tomorrow, and then probably the next day after that I'll be running up to Flagstaff, as long as I can get the water, the deep well pump in the well today, and at least get it to where it's pumping to the surface, so I can fill up my water jugs and stuff. That's first and foremost. I gotta take care of that first, because you need water no matter what you're doing. We live so far out. I mean, I could just put a water container on the back of my trailer and truck it in, but we bought a couple 17 gallon water containers yesterday just to have stuff to flush the toilets and things like that. But I mean, that's only temporary for a couple days. My wife's gonna slit my throat while I sleep if I don't make getting the water up and running, number one priority. So that's number one. I wouldn't even have left the house today if I didn't have to have this truck back. So that's the only reason why we're going to town. And I figured, well, since we are going to town, I might as well go to Home Depot and get that water tank, because I'll have my wife's following me in my truck behind me. So that's the plan for today. Just a little bit of an update. There was a couple little FUBARs that I had no idea about when we got to the house. One of them is I'm not a heating and AC guy. I can do electrical. I've worked on it before. I know the basic operation of them. I did get we went and filled up our little 5-gallon propane tanks that we brought with us from Washington. I have like 4 or 5 of them. But so we filled those up when we went into town last night to make a supply run. And I was able to have all the right fittings and everything to get one of the full 5-gallon propane tanks hooked up to the furnace. And I did bring my generator down with me, so we had lights and everything, and the refrigerator was working, so we were able to have cold food and store food out there right away. But the furnace itself, it's an older gas furnace, and it's a single burner furnace. A lot of gas furnaces have like multiple firing tubes on them, but ours is only a single burner furnace, which is okay. It's not that big of a house. Won't take very long to heat it with the gas furnace anyway. But I got the pilot light on and lit and everything, but and I got the electrical all troubleshoot, and the fan motor comes on, and it tries to kick on the burner. It tries to ignite the burner, but for some reason it just won't ignite. So that's an issue that I'm going to have to deal with. We do have a couple little electric space heaters, but I don't, I need to fix my furnace. That's the bottom line. So that's another thing that I have to worry about. The door handle on the back of the door doesn't have a latch on it. The handle's there, but the little plunger that goes into the door jamb is gone on the back door. The front door's good, but so we have 2 dogs with us, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt, dealing with the door that you can't just shut it from the outside and walk away, because the door will stay open. You have to turn the deadbolt from the inside in order to get the door to stay closed. So I got, that's no big deal, whatever. It's going to take me 5 minutes to fix it, but it's just all those little things. You have a plan in your head, and it's like, oh, I'm going to get this done, and I'm going to get that done. And but like I said before on the previous video, there's no guarantees. Nothing is set in stone. There's no stability where we are. So we kind of just have to we have to do like a triage type situation where we take whatever the most, the biggest issue needing attention, and do that first, and then so on and so forth. So it is March, so it's nearing the end of winter up here in northern Arizona. It's really, really nice today. I mean, I don't know what temperature it is, but it's probably in the 60s, I'm guessing. But at night it gets cold, and when you don't have any sorts of heat at all, blankets are good. You can wear pajamas and thermals and things like that when you go to bed, but just the overall comfort part of it, just to be able to come inside after being outside when it's cold, and the house is still cold when you come in, instead of being warm where you can just relax. So we got to get these little things have got to get taken care of. So there's a couple humps and bumps in the road so far, and then one thing I did notice also is there's like nails and screws and just little chunks and pieces of garbage all around the yard. We didn't notice that before because they kind of blend into the type of sandy loam that's there in the yard. But so it's like now I don't want to be driving that backhoe around everywhere, so I'm gonna have to get a rolling magnet tool you roll it along the ground and it sucks up anything that's metal in the dirt, and roll that. Have one of my kids roll that around the yard and see if we can minimize the amount of screws and nails that are everywhere. So just those aren't end of the world things, but it's I've had a little bit of it's been a really few long days, and it's been a lot of work so far, and I'm excited about what we're doing, but I've had kind of a crummy attitude just because I was up late last night trying to get the furnace working. I thought I figured out the problem, and it still didn't fix the problem. And my wife ate something that didn't agree with her, and she wasn't feeling very good. And so I'm really gonna have to kind of put myself into check and realize that there's gonna be problems, there's gonna be issues. We wanted this. We do. We want this is what we want, and we knew it was going to be hard. And no matter what little things just pop up that you weren't thinking about that you had to deal with, I personally have to put myself in check, take a step back, and just try to keep a cool head on my shoulders and just keep a good attitude, because I'm kind of my wife really is the glue that holds everything together usually, but we both are. And when one of us is grumpy, and it just trickles on down the line to the kids, and so once we get a few things established here, it's just been one day. We just got there yesterday. We unloaded all of our stuff. It's spread out everywhere, all over the house and outside in boxes, and so it's just a little bit of that madness right now. Just we don't know where anything is. Well, where's that thing at? Where's this kitchen thing at? Where's that? Oh, I don't know. It's in a box somewhere. We're sick of eating out. When we went into town to run for supplies last night, we hadn't had any refrigerate. Food that you have to keep in the refrigerator because we've been traveling, but we're tired of eating out. So my wife says, I'm buying stuff to make some sandwiches. We'll just eat when we get back. And we got back later than we thought because we don't know the area, and we had to run all around town to do what we were trying to do yesterday. And we had to run back and forth across the town like 2 times. And so it was, time flies. And by the time we got home, it was late. We hadn't eaten yet. And we lost the bag that had all the lunch meat and cheese and stuff in it, because we were going to have like sub sandwiches. And we looked everywhere for the bag and couldn't find it. So it just was a real rough first day. And then we didn't sleep well last night because my wife, she ended up eating something that she just made quick because it was already late and it didn't agree with her. And we both did not sleep very well. So I guarantee you we're going to sleep real good tonight. But so it's not all cotton candy and peaches. It's work. We're not. This is not. If you think you can come out and do this and have a plan and everything's going to go accordingly, and every little thing's going to fall in line, and you can just stick to your plan. That's not going to happen. That's not the case. You can have the best laid plans in the world, but things just happen. Unforeseen things just pop up. We looked at the house. I even crawled under the house myself and crawled around and inspected it, and we looked in all the cabinets, and we did our due diligence on looking to see the condition, but you don't really know exactly what the condition is until you're there and you're trying to use stuff, and you got the generator hooked up and you're trying to operate lights, and you got the water hooked up and you're trying to run the faucet and do this and that. So it's you can't make plans for everything. And after the day we had yesterday, my wife not feeling good last night, and I was just frustrated because I couldn't get the furnace started. That's real life. Those are the types of things that are just going to happen, and you got to deal with. And I will be the first to admit that I was really grumpy and in a bad mood, and like, gosh dang, every little thing I do, I turn around and I got to fix this and I got to fix that. Why can't anything just, why can't I just hook up the propane tank and have the furnace come on? But you just got to realize that life isn't like that. Not going to be like that, and you can't let your attitude rub off on other people. And my kids are already having a tough time moving away from all their friends, and living out of suitcases for the last 2.5-3 months, and it's been rough on everybody, and I just have to keep that in mind. I'm doing this for their benefit, to make everybody's lives better, and so that's my plan, and that's what I'm going to do. And the attitude has a big role in that. And so that's basically my rant for today. I'm just about to the facility here where we got to bring this truck back to. So I'm using this video as my mirror image, so I can tell myself where I need to be. And so I'm gonna record some stuff later on today. I am gonna record me putting the solar panels and the solar deep well pump all together, and get it down the well and see if we can get some water today. That would be nice. Some actual running water, so we don't have to run to town and fill up jugs. And we'll see how it goes. That'll be one check mark off of the list. So you guys take it easy, and we'll talk to you a little later. Bye.